Mainstream left-wing media yet again proves how unbelievably out of touch they are by grabbing Hassan Piker and positioning and posturing him as the new Joe Rogan of the left and asking him, Hassan Piker, as to why the left lost this election. We're cooked. We are thoroughly cooked. When CNN asks an individual who said America deserved 9/11 what the next step is to win an election back from Donald Trump, we're finished. Let's see what this fool. I can't with this foolishness, bro.
Hassan Piker.
This is my dog Kaya. I thought you legitimately were gonna work out.
I could do some weights.
He's a social media superstar with almost 3 million followers on the video streaming platform Twitch.
They're eating the pets.
So this is that whole masculinity thing people are talking about, huh?
And he's part of a growing group of streamers and podcasters reaching young men online, a space Trump tapped into to reach young male voters.
This is peak delusion. Like, Hassan Piker is not reaching young men. And to be fair to Hassan, most of us are not reaching young men. Most liberal left-wing commentators are not reaching young men. Chief among them, Hassan. Now, Hassan could, but he's just not. And there's a myriad of reasons as to why, whether it's the fingernail painting, the kissing on the cheek with other dudes. I don't have a problem with these things. But if y'all expect me to lie after this election loss, I'm not doing it anymore. Obviously, the average young man doesn't want other dudes kissing them on the cheek, doesn't paint their nails, doesn't wear dresses, etc., etc. I don't care what other people do. I'm as liberal as anyone else. Do what you want to do. I don't believe in holding folk back from whatever the you want to do. But let's not pretend that Hassan, Destiny, David, maybe Destiny, maybe David Packman, any of these people are reaching young men. None of us are reaching young men. Let's not lie. Just because bro is built and goes to the gym does not all of a sudden mean he's reaching the young male demographic. Okay? Like, that's just not the case. And liberals have to get away from this mindset that you can market anything to young men and they'll just like it. This idea that young men don't like certain things and young women don't like certain things. They're just told to like things by society, which is such an unbelievably stupid understanding of anything. And it's like, this is why we struggle so much, because we're in delusion land. Hassan Piker's marketing and he's bringing in young men. No, he's not. He's not. And to be fair, again, to Hassan, that's not his market. He's not out there trying to be a self-help guru. So understandably and fair to him, fair play to the guy, you know, combined with a bunch of other reasons, he's not bringing in young men. What do you want me to say? He is? I'm not going to lie to you.
And then you won't be able to see that he's not doing any weights.
But Hassan is not a Trump supporter. He's a progressive, a fan of Bernie and AOC. The Democratic Party even invited him to the DNC in August.
One thing we've been hearing for weeks now is that the left needs a Joe Rogan.
Yeah. I don't think that the Democratic Party can podcast itself out of this issue. Joe Rogan, he endorsed Bernie Sanders in 2020. Maybe they should do an autopsy on why he left the party.
Hassan's wrong and right. So here's the reality. No, Democrats can't podcast their way out of this, but it's really important to understand that yes, we can podcast our way out of this. One of the biggest lessons I learned from this election season, this election cycle, is that policy at this very moment does not matter. Now, does it literally matter? Of course. Legislation will always matter. It folds and it molds our day-to-day lives, right? It builds our roads. It regulates our food, etc., etc. But it is unbelievably undeniable that we lost an information war. We lost a messaging war. And if you think for 1 second propaganda, rhetoric, and messaging is not why we lost, you're in delusion land. For those of you who confidently sit there and say that we lost because of policy, you are out of touch. And you know how I know you're out of touch? Because I was out of touch. When Kamala lost, I'm sitting there thinking, how could a guy whose last political rally had a horrible joke made about Puerto Ricans. How could a guy with that kind of rally win? How could a guy who falsely accused Haitians of eating cats and dogs win? How could a guy who sat there and said, I should have never left office, how could he win? How could a guy who sat there and said, Kamala became a black person? How did a guy who engaged in insurrection and literally launched a false electors plot and tried to use the DOJ to commit fraud, how could he win again? How could the guy who sat there and said, I want Netanyahu to finish the job win? How could a guy whose son-in-law said we're going to make beachfront property on Gaza, how could he win? And I began to realize it's a combination of factors, but one of the biggest reasons why right-wingers have done so well is because of the media war that they've been waging for years. Alternative media is the new battlefield, and we have no troops deployed on that battlefield. No troops deployed there at all. And what I mean by that is that the Democrats won't utilize the pieces they have on the board. They continuously ignore alternative media over and over and over again. I'm getting wind of information that apparently the Brian Tyler Cohen reached out to the Harris team and they said, no thanks. Nah, we're good on that. We're going to keep talking to Rachel Maddow and Joy Reid and all these other people. We're not going to talk to you. Buffoons, fools, all of them. You got Packman, you got Cohen, Beasley. If you're looking for commentators with no baggage, those are your pondering politics, Josiah. You got people you can pick. They don't want to do it. Podcasts, entertainment, like this shit has to be digestible, fun. This matters. So yes, we can podcast our way out of it, but I will say this. We're not getting a Joe Rogan. I'm going to just tell it to you straight right now. We are not getting a Joe Rogan. Just let that one go. We're not getting a Joe Rogan. It's not happening, okay? Joe Rogan is a once-in-a-lifetime entertainer. He's a comedian. He's a commentator on UFC. He has a podcast, etc., etc., etc. You're not getting a left-wing Joe Rogan, and it's definitely not going to be Hassan. Joe Rogan entertains types of humor on his podcast that Hassan would never entertain. Joe Rogan brings guests on his show that Hassan Piker would never entertain. Joe Rogan is very friendly with the vet bros. He's got Jocko Willink on his show, David Goggins on his show, Andy Stump on his show. Joe Rogan has the support of the veteran community. Joe Rogan is friendly to American servicemen. Hassan Piker and his friends don't like the American military. And I'm sorry, but the vast majority of Americans love our troops. You all are out of touch. CNN talking to this nigga after he literally just had an entire situation of praising terror organizations and has a history of talking about how America deserved 9/11 and called the terrorists who blew out Dan Crenshaw's eye a brave mujahideen soldier. You think this nigga can become the face of the left? If he becomes the face of the left, let's just go on ahead and just call it a day. Rest in peace. We're done. We're cooked. America loves itself like any other country. This self-hatred on the far left is never going to be marketable. You're never going to be able to push it. Let that shit go. Let it go. Another thing is that, bro, like, the reality is, like, liberals are everything Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan fucks with, like, masculinity. He fucks with fun conspiracy theories. He fucks with the vet bros. He fucks with edgy humor. Progressives don't touch stuff like that. Ew, icky military imperialism. Ew, offensive jokes. Ew, you're so out of touch with the average American. Of course you're gonna lose. This is why I say the leftist wing of our party needs to be destroyed. They need to be put back in line because everything they almost everything they say is destruction, total destruction. They don't know where to draw the line on socialist policies, some of which I support. They don't know where to draw the line when it comes to trying to curtail American foreign interference. They don't know where to draw the line in terms of pop culture. It's always something. This is a guy who sat there on his stream and called white people the C word. One of the biggest reasons why we're losing is because Republicans have successfully portrayed us as anti-white. The last thing you want to do is grab someone who constantly says anti-white bullshit, constantly is anti-American, anti-troop, surrounds himself with people who are anti-American, anti-American military, shove him to the forefront, and then when he obviously causes more harm than good, we're going to sit there and scratch our head wondering why Democratic policy just didn't change the minds of the American people. So much of this is culture war and vibes, and the average liberal is too nerdy to see it. And how do I know? Because I was that guy last month. You gotta stop for a second and ask yourself, where did we go wrong? Why was I so surprised that we lost? These are conversations that need to be had. And then Hassan talks about how, we had a Joe Rogan, but he left the party. Joe Rogan left because when he was talking about the whole in 2020, the left was like, I can't believe you would say this, can't believe you would do this. CNN tried to make him seem like he was sick with video editing. And then when he had them on his podcast, the dude didn't want to apologize or admit what they did. Then the whole N-word controversy, and Joe Rogan was out there. He's like, you know what, bro? Like, if y'all gonna hold me, career hostage, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm out. Bro was like, you know what? Like, we cool on that. And now he's a fucking right-wing shill, pushing propaganda. That's just where we're at right now. At this point, there is no getting Joe Rogan back for the time being. If he chooses to come back, he comes back. But this whole, we need to find a Joe Rogan of the left, Joe Rogan is not some fucking, it's not happening. There's only one Joe Rogan. It's like trying to say we need another Conor McGregor. There's only one. Okay, there's only one. You only get one of these types of people, bro. We need another Michael Jordan. We need another LeBron. These people are one of ones. You don't get clones of them. Instead of trying to cheat the system and skip to the end, how do we get a Joe Rogan for the left? Sit your ass down and humble yourself and ask yourself, how did the right get to this position? What steps did they take? Stop looking at the very end where Joe Rogan starts repeating their nonsense and look at the beginning. Look back to the Rush Limbaugh. Look back to the beginnings of insane right-wing media propaganda and rhetoric. Look back to the beginning. How did this begin? It's not overnight, bro. Propaganda ain't overnight. Messaging ain't over. Y'all trying to find overnight solutions. It ain't gonna work like that. So Hassan is right when he says y'all need to figure out why Joe Rogan left. But the problem is a lot of y'all are happy with the fact that he left. I can't really remember how bad the N-word controversy was with Joe Rogan. I don't know if he was calling. I don't think he was calling people the N. I think he just said it or something, like the Papa John situation. And then the whole, stuff with 2020, the what, like, bro, y'all know why he left. Do y'all feel like we went too hard? Do y'all feel like we went too hard? None of y'all are going to say, no progressive is going to sit there and say, yeah, we kind of went too hard on Joe Rogan. So it's like, there's no point in looking back into actually there is a point. I do think we go too hard. I do think we are always so happy to just kick people the fuck out if they make a mistake. And then we wonder why we have all these turncoats. I'm sorry, but a lot of people are very, very, very compelled emotionally. People will change political sides based on who treated them well last week. And liberals don't know how to play that emotional game of politics. Everything with us is facts, 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 facts. And then you wonder why you lose all the time. You always trying to fact your way through something. Start thinking from a much more instinctual place to properly strategize. You got to be able to do both. You got to be able to read policy and understand it, but also understand how to talk to the common, average, everyday American. Liberals don't know how to do that. It's a game of messaging and propaganda. And until we realize that and properly move accordingly, we're going to keep taking L's and asking terrorist supporters how to win on CNN. That's where we're at right now as a party. After taking the biggest L ever to an insurrectionist, we are now asking terrorist supporters from Turkey how to win. That's where we're at right now. A nigga whose homeboys have the gall to come on Twitch and say, if you're an American soldier, you deserve PTSD unless you apologize for stuff you probably never even did. You shouldn't have health care. Like, who in the fuck are you? Who are you? Then the other one talk about America kind of did deserve, what's the little girl named Denims? America kind of did deserve 9/11. And then you got the boss himself talking about, fucking man, America deserved 9/11, bro. I'm saying it. These three niggas, they're the ones who are going to save the Democratic Party. Most Americans love this country, love our troops, think we went too hard, in Afghanistan, probably shouldn't have did Iraq, but if you think America's going to become a self-hating country, it's never going to happen. And trying to put people who don't even love this country and probably have more loyalty to their religion or their culture from where their family is from than this country, trying to put them at the forefront and say, these are our new saviors. Fool, you're going to lose again. Donald Trump dances and hugs American flags and dances to YMCA. He at least seems like he loves this country. We all know he doesn't. He's an insurrectionist who hates democracy. Liberals, leftists can't even pretend to like America. It's always something with you niggas. And then at the end of it all, it's, well, I think Democrats failed on policy, which we're about to get to next.
I like to work out. I'm very bro-y. A lot of people look at the optics of that and they don't like it. They think like, oh, well, he's a little toxic, isn't he? And they don't really listen to what I have to say because I'm significantly more progressive than the average Democratic campaign.
Yeah, I've heard you say when it comes to stuff that guys like, you seek that stuff out online, whether it's watching a streamer, whether it's watching guys talking about working out and fitness. You say that the right wing just dominates that space.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I think that's why I started on Twitch, right? I know for a fact that the video game space is like people who consume this culture, people who are a part of this culture are not all right wing. I wanted to showcase to people that like, no, you can be a progressive person, you can be a leftist and like have fun at the same time.
Now, to be fair to Hassan is the only left-wing commentator who talks to people like Bradley Martin, who goes on these podcasts, who does these workout videos with other creators. Don't like him, think he's a threat to the country, and the shit he says is a threat to the country, but I'm gonna give credit where credit's due. What you want me to say? That he's not doing that correct? He is. The reason why people don't like him is not because he's bro-y. In fact, his appearance is what helps him gain supporters. Him being a bro is not why people don't like him. Him being anti-American, a terror supporter who lies about stuff that we literally watched him say in real time, that's why people don't like him. You can't be in a country, constantly spew shit that is in support of the enemies of that country, and then come on CNN and say, people don't like me because I'm a bro and I'm bro-y. That's not why niggas don't like you. Stop playing. Like stop playing, bro. Like, you know why people don't fuck with you. Now, of course, being a super progressive is always going to make some people dislike you, right? I'm not going to pretend like it's all, him being a Hamas supporter, a Hezbollah supporter, a Houthi supporter. I don't even know why he denies this stuff. Like, bro, I don't even, it's like Trump. It's like, I didn't say, it's like you're right there. Whatever. People don't like him for the most obvious of reasons he actively contributes to every single day. And this is another wake-up call for the left. The only person you have talking to Bradley Martin is a nigga who supports Hezbollah and thinks America deserved 9/11. If this isn't the definition of cooked, I don't know what is. That's the best we've got. The only dude of substance who works out, supports terrorist organizations, probably has more loyalty to Islam and Islamic culture than the United States. That's the best we've got. Everyone else is a nerd dork behind a screen like this. That's it. That's all we got. Is him. If this isn't a wake-up call for our party and our country, I don't know what is, bro. If this is the dude who's at the helm, we just go on ahead and wrap it up. The United States, we had our run, we're good, we're finished. Because he ain't doing shit. I'm just telling you, right? If you think the average American's going, yeah, we deserve for 2,000 of our civilians to just die for no good fucking reason. Well, our troops were in Saudi Arabia, but the Saudis did ask us to be there, but we deserve that anyways, though. No one's going with that. Stop. You know what I mean? Like, just stop, bro. I'm sorry. Like, what do y'all want me to sit here and tell y'all? That, policy is why we lost? No. And people like Hassan are going to further entrench the reason why we're going to continue to lose. Americans don't want this.
There's a general sense that when it comes to the world of podcasts, alternative media, I don't even know what you want to call it, that Trump did a much better job with that than Democrats and Harris.
Absolutely. I think that's true. I was a naysayer early. When I saw the Aiden Ross collab, I thought, this doesn't have motion.
So this is Trump with Aiden Ross.
When Trump went on Aiden Ross's stream, I was like, it was awkward. It was weird. But then I saw Trump on Theo Vaughn. And he started talking about cocaine. And I was like, uh-oh, this humanizes him.
Cocaine a stronger
Oh, yeah.
up?
Yeah. Cocaine
So,
will make
you're way up with cocaine more than anything else you can think of.
Cocaine will turn you into a damn owl, homie. You know what I'm saying? It'll.
Harris did consider going on Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
but she didn't.
So that was a mistake as well, I think, because Joe Rogan can't deliver adversarial interviews if his life depended on it.
Here's where I disagree with Hassan. Joe Rogan is nice, but he's really biased. We're even finding out, he literally just came out and said Zelensky wanted to come on my show, but I said no. It's like, oh, like that's the type of timing you're on. Okay. That's how you getting down. Okay, I see how it is. Shit. You have all these other people on, but you won't have Zelensky on. Real weird. All these irrelevant, nameless people, billionaires who no one knows until they come on your show, but one of the most pivotal people in modern current history who will go down in history books for saying, I don't need a ride, I need more ammo. You don't want to talk to him. Okay. Where I disagree with Hassan here is I think that Kamala would have had to prepare for a debate if she went on Joe Rogan's show. I don't think his interview would have been friendly. I think it would have been passive-aggressively aggressive. I think she would have had to deconstruct a lot of narratives, combat a lot of lies, and the entire thing would be a debate. In order for her to successfully do this, she would have to, hire a streamer. I'm not trying to glaze. I'm just keeping it 1,000. Of all the left-wing streamers she would need to reach out to actually go on Joe Rogan comfortably with no fear of being steamrolled by BS questions and mind games, it would have to be Destiny. He's the only left-wing streamer I can think of mentally prepared enough to go into any right-wing space and flip it and make himself the person who's the favorite. There's no one else. No one else. Kamala don't got time for that. She's writing up she's either getting new speeches, going here, going there. She don't got time to prepare. She had 3 months to campaign, 4 months. She didn't have a lot of time. Okay? So I disagree. I think she should have went on, but again, you don't know what you're getting with Joe Rogan. It could have been the friendliest interview or it could have been the most biased interview. But Joe Rogan is not as friendly as he used to be, in my opinion. It's becoming increasingly obvious that he is incredibly biased toward the right, and Kamala could have walked into a nasty situation. I don't believe Kamala would have had as easy of a time on that show with Joe as Trump did. I just don't.
Is it that the Democrat Party has to do differently?
Well, I think that they need to change their policies.
It's a policy thing.
Yes, it's 100% a policy thing.
Because I'll say,
which is the boring answer. Although it would be very self-serving for me to say, I'm the left's Joe Rogan, the Democratic Party should give me millions of dollars. That's not going to solve this problem. What will solve this problem is if the Democratic Party actually adopts real left-wing economic populist messaging instead of purposefully avoiding that stuff because they're terrified of upsetting their corporate donors. I think Trump speaks to male insecurities better, and I think Trump speaks to the anger that people have, whereas the other side of the political spectrum does not speak to that anger at all.
Here's the reality. Under Biden, the CHIPS Act got passed. The infrastructure bill got passed. He passed legislation for healthcare to make it cheaper for people to afford the medicine that they need. Joe Biden has passed so many pieces of important legislation to ease the struggles of the working class. And you know what him and Kamala got in exchange from people who were supposed to come out and vote? A middle finger. You know what Trump got for suggesting tariffs to bring down prices? He got the presidency. Stop kidding yourselves about this nonsense of policy. The only party that can win on policy are Republicans, because Republicans have controlled the messaging. If Kamala comes out and says, I'm going to enact all these radical, left-wing economic policies, you know what the Republicans are going to say? Communist. communist. She's a commie Kamala. And just like that, you've another blow, another propaganda blow. We don't control the narrative. We have no ability to fight. Okay, we got an info war going on and we're losing. Simple messaging like Kami Kamala and all that, it works. It's effect. Is it true? No. But multiple studies show that Republicans support progressive economic policies when the person suggesting it is a Republican, not a Democrat. We have a lot of cultural and propaganda-built barriers to jump over. And trying to blame it all on policy is lazy. Furthermore, I'm going to say something that I probably shouldn't say, but I'm going to say it. Democratic voters, you suck. You suck. You suck. If I'm Joe Biden, fuck all of y'all. Seriously. If I'm Joe Biden, I'm throwing the remote at the TV and I'm doing a voodoo curse on the whole every Democratic voter in there. All of y'all. Just, hell. To cast to hell. All that bitching and crying and screaming y'all niggas did since Trump came into politics, and you let this nigga win twice. The second time, it should have been obvious that, bro, after January 6th, all kind of foolishness and stupid, all of this going on, and at the end of it all, so many of us just sat at home and said, it doesn't really matter who wins, it's gonna be the same. Fuck y'all. These niggas sat there and overturned Roe, and you think it's the same. One of them said, I deserve immunity for committing fraud and trying to violate people's right to vote. The other said, I will not use these powers granted to me by the Supreme Court. And in fact, I want to pass legislation saying no one can use these powers. You think they're the same. One of them goads his supporters into attacking the Capitol and stays silent for 3 hours. The other isn't. But somehow, they're the same. One says, I'm going to have Netanyahu finish the job. The other does what he can do, given the delicate situation he's been given, and they're both the same. One of them threatens to have his supporters beat your ass if you interrupt him at a rally. The other doesn't. But they're still so similar. It's so hard to choose. One of them regrets leaving office when he was supposed to. The other wants to participate in a peaceful transition of power. It's so hard to pick between these two. One of them wants to get rid of my affordable health care. The other one doesn't. It's so hard. One of them wants to deport everybody. The other one doesn't. This is a difficult choice. What do I do? That's your stupid ass. That's your dumb ass. Sitting there crying about, it's Gaza. Well, shit, Gaza went from up here in the important totem pole to all the way down here. You want to know why? When Trump get up in there with Trump them get up in there and do what they about to do, so much destruction will be caused, the average American really won't give a fuck about foreign problems. That's what y'all get. Stupid ass niggas. Y'all had one, bro, if y'all actually wanted the problems addressed that you wanted to be addressed, you would have kept the nigga out of office. He's literally going to undo everything you want and bring about a whole bunch of shit you don't want. And in response to all of that, you just sitting there, well, next election, we'll just, if the Democrats give us what we want, maybe we'll vote for them. The nigga got on stage, bro, this nigga said, I should have never left. In case you're not understanding what he's trying to say, let's put it in terms you can understand. Let's say a nigga sits there and refuses to leave office, tries to engage in fraud to stay, and when it doesn't work, stirs up an insurrection and tries to see how far it can go and whether he can get away with it or not. Then, 3 years later, regrets ever leaving at all. What's the message he's trying to send here? This is also the guy who said, once you vote for me, you'll never have to worry about voting again. It seems like there's a chance there won't be an election in 2028, dumbass. You want me? I'm not Joe. I'm not Kamala. I don't gotta stand in front of y'all and be nice and fucking pretend with you like you're right. This isn't Chick-fil-A. The customers aren't always right. Okay? If you sit there and you let Trump win, Biden and them can't save your motherfucking ass. And then I see stupid people we taught Kamala lesson. Kamala's rich. Kamala don't gotta worry about this shit, nigga. She could lead a country. There's probably people loyal to her in the government, people loyal to the Democratic Party and loyal to American institution. Bro, Kamala's protected. Or as Big Shaq would say, protected it. Kamala's protected. Yo ass is about to learn. Biden ain't learning a motherfucking thing. Biden's an old man who's seen everything there is to see. Biden has seen it all. Biden, he's about to retire, a rich, wealthy man who served his nation with honor and integrity. Yo stupid ass, the one who held your own freedom at weapon point, you are the one who's about to learn. The arrogance of the Democratic voter is unbelievable to me. Thinking you taught these people the lesson. You didn't teach them shit. Dumb motherfucker. Some motherfuckers sitting there talking about some, if the Democrats aren't catering to what you want, you shouldn't vote for them. Stupid. Just dumb. Bro, which party is actually more aligned to what you want? Democrats or Republicans? You know the answer. You don't like the answer. Progressives find every reason in the world to lose and none to win. Trump is a whole criminal who lies every day, and these motherfuckers refuse to ever waver in their loyalty to him. As he threatens your rights, you sit there and come up with all these reasons to just have him win. I don't want to hear a thing from leftists, I don't want to hear anything from leftists once this shit show begins. You had a chance. Let me tell y'all what leftists are like. Like when you in school and shit, and you're playing a sport, and there's that one kid on your team who just does not give a fuck, does not want to participate, just doesn't care, but somehow feels some type of way about the outcome, somehow, some way. You pass them the ball, and instead of dribbling it toward the fucking, toward the hoop, they fucking hold it and refuse to do anything with it. And then they purposefully travel with the ball and turn it over, and then get mad at you. Well, if you had passed it to me nicer, maybe I wouldn't have traveled and turned it over and helped the other team win. And it's like, well, okay, well, shit. That's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with a part of the team who does not want to participate. Worst of all, they're not even athletic. They can't even run nowhere. That's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a member of the team who can destroy everything and refuses to contribute anything. I'm not Joe. I don't gotta be bullied by far leftists. I don't have to put up with this bullshit. I don't have to. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. I'm not Joe Biden. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. I'm not about to be, bro. Like, if we're gonna win another election, I'm not gonna be bullied by progressives, and I encourage you to not let them bully you either. Okay, we share too much in common politically for y'all to be trying to hold this movement at knife point, willing to crash out the whole country, minorities, white folk, black folk, everybody, crash everybody out behind Gaza, behind them not being socialist enough, behind any reason you can find to ruin the country, you'll find one. And then when it's all said and done, we should really figure out how to cater to you more. Well, fuck you. Since our rights isn't important enough to you and all these other fucking bullshit issues that don't matter in this moment matter more, you don't deserve to be here anymore. And every single time something crazy happens under Trump, I'm gonna blame your motherfucking ass. Because all you had to do was show up and vote. That's all y'all had to do. I'm tired of this wing of the party. You won't protest Trump. You won't confront MAGA. You only pick on Democratic politicians. You refuse to show up and vote. You constantly sow seeds of division and chaos. Nigga, fuck y'all. So we about to wrap up this video, bro. Here's what I'm gonna say, bro. The left is in tatters right now. Everyone is delusional. No one wants to understand the importance of messaging. Everybody wants to point to stupid issues that won't matter in the next 2 years because of all the damage Trump is going to do. I'm telling you this right now. Liberals are too information and facts concerned. That's important. We're going to need those things to properly govern when we hopefully recover and take back our country. In the meantime, we need to be figuring out how to convince the American people to give us the privilege and the right to do that. Because right now, they just gave it to Trump. Republicans are better at messaging, they're better at propaganda, they are better at everything. We are losing an information war to Republicans, to Russia, to all of these countries all over. We are losing, the United States is losing an information war. And Hassan Piker is a soldier against the United States in this information war. And look at our party looking toward terrorist sympathizers to figure out how to win a fucking election in the United States. After all of the men and women who have died fighting Al-Qaeda, after 9/11, yo stupid ass brings him on CNN to figure out how to win the next election. I pray to God that these are the growing pains of a party who's going to eventually figure out how to win, but something tells me Trump is just going to have to destroy everything, and the American people are going to have to just bite the biggest bullet ever before they finally say, okay, no more. We're no more. Okay, no more Republicans. Democrats, please come save us. That might be the only. That's just. I don't know. I don't know, because look at who we're looking toward to win. Look at who we are looking toward to win. Look at who CNN is reaching out to. We're cooked. The only mainstream media platform we have is MSNBC, and if you watch that shit, you're probably not the average American. We're losing. We're losing. We are losing. This is just absolutely comical, this interview. Can't take it seriously. Won't take it seriously. We are cooked as long as we stay completely out of touch and out of lockstep with the American people. What do y'all want me to sit here and say? Y'all want me to lie and tell you that Americans are in support of Hezbollah? No! No! People might be tired of wars in the Middle East, but they're not fans of Islam or radical Islam. Let it go. We got to start playing to win. Y'all want this picture perfect movie? It ain't real. Stop. Bro, y'all be so in love with these utopian fantasies. Get in the trenches, get your hands dirty, and then we could work towards something. Y'all don't even want to touch. I want to get to the clean part. Nigga, put some, get in there. What you trying to what's going on? What is going on? From the politicians to the fucking voters, it's a mess. Politicians who refuse to interact with fucking alternative media, refuse to be humorous, refuse to be aggressive, refuse to engage in that killer instinct. Voters who think it's appropriate to just lollygag around and just let a fucking lunatic back into the White House. This party is a party of losers, a party of whiners, complainers, weaklings. At least conservatives try. They may be stupid, they may be ignorant, they may be little pawns on a chessboard, but at least they fucking try. Look at yo ass, finding excuses for why it's okay to let them take your right to marry who you want from you, to bodily autonomy from you, to religious freedom from you, to racial freedom from you. All of that, they just take it away from you because you've dreamed up some fucking excuse. Pathetic. And then, after you take the biggest L ever, you ask this nigga, God, bro, you know what I'm saying? You ask this guy if he can be the Joe Rogan of the left. And that's that laziness. That's that soft shit in y'all. How do we skip to the very end and get the final outcome? Ain't no Joe Rogan of the left. We starting from ground one. We got to start from the bottom. Ain't no motherfucker trying to skip to the final mission of the game. You can't do that. You got to do what the conservatives did. You got to do what they did. This shit wasn't overnight, bruh. This Joe Rogan shit wasn't overnight. This media shit wasn't overnight, but they had to grind. They had to put in that work. Y'all trying to skip to the, bruh. Yo, I'm done, bro. Talking about some, oh my God, bro. I can't with y'all, bro. This party is a mess. This party is a fucking mess. This is the only party that represents America for its ideals and what it truly is, and this is what we're stuck with. Okay.